What's up, everybody? Today, we are going into a business mini habit where you will learn how to intentionally start conversations with 3 to 5 new people in your target audience a day. And you're going to do this, you're going to learn how to do this 3 to 5 times a week using the direct messenger. Now, important key to this, we're going to do it without cold pitching and icky marketing, bro sales tactics, so that you are continually building new relationships, carrying connections, and filling your pipeline with new opportunities, folks. If that sounds good, stick around. This is going to be a great episode for you. So, I want to welcome you to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives through a fun, supportive, action oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. That's what we do here, folks. So I'm your host, Matt Travis, the founder of The Potential You. And for those of you premium service-based business entrepreneurs out there that want to enhance your irresistible offer, your messaging, your subconscious sales systems to organically accelerate your leads and sales in the $1 Prove It partnership, check out the link in the show notes below. I'd love to have you join us. So I am so freaking excited about this conversation today. We have the fabulous, the amazing Heidi Medina, a social media marketing strategist, a business coach, and just a fabulous person who specializes in using conversation style marketing, my favorite. And she's from the States, but lives in beautiful sunny Portugal, where she's helped over 350 service providers and coaches take the ick out of marketing and turn online connections into profitable opportunities simply by talking to people with a strategy. Doesn't that sound so nice, folks? Doesn't that sound refreshing? If you're not excited, let's get excited. So, Heidi, tell me something that you believe is the key to relationship marketing and entrepreneurship that someone might not think of.
Honestly, I think the thing people forget, especially in the online world, and this is where I come into play, is that it's a human being on the other side of that screen and that keyboard.
Amen. Thank you.
It just there's
For
such
those in
a
the back,
disconnect
listen
with
up.
people. I mean, it's so
Exactly.
simple, and everybody forgets. They just do. They start typing, and all of a sudden, I mean, we've seen the comments some people leave and stuff. And it's like I always tell my clients, if you won't say it in person, you probably shouldn't be saying it online.
Oh man, I could not agree more. It's I think of these different social media networks. They're like places, right? I say this to my clients all the time. I'm like Facebook's kind of like a party or a social networking spot. So when you go in there, that's what you think of it as. Like if it was a real place, this is what it would look like. LinkedIn is more of a kind of like a business networking event where you're going in and you're having this type of thing. And then Instagram is kind of maybe if we had a networking event at an art gallery, right? So it's kind of like that space. And then, all the others have their own vibe to them. So I know a lot of what you do is really driven on LinkedIn. So I'm just so excited to have you kind of dig in today and share just more of like why LinkedIn, why this place, why.
I actually do what pretty much the same thing on all the platforms. I treat them all the same.
I love
But
it.
LinkedIn was my baby. I got on it in late 2017. I'd been heavy Facebook for a really long time, and I'm a conversation person. I like to talk to people, and I got on LinkedIn because somebody kept saying, "How do you need to get on LinkedIn? You need to get on LinkedIn." And I'm sitting here, I'm like, "No, that's that professional platform. No." Every time I go on there, I hate it. It was just my resume Parker area. But I got back on it on the recommendation of a couple of cool friends, and it had changed. And of course, it's changed again
Hmm.
since the pandemic, and it's still changing. But now it's a place people do go to actually have conversations and get to know people. It's not just all that corporate, buttoned up, we got to have a briefcase kind of place anymore, even though the LinkedIn place will try to convince you otherwise. But it's really just a really, really, I know, don't get me started on those guys.
I was like, we could go down a rabbit hole right now, but let's stay on track.
But LinkedIn has this amazing place for really being able to connect with people. It compared to the other platforms, I find people show up more often as their real selves, and it is much
Mm,
easier to have a real conversation. Now, that said, as usual, take that with a grain of salt.
facts. Totally. And I think one of the things that I love about you is the fact that I think you naturally attract people through your messaging, through the way that you are, right? I always say to my audience, like, how you're being and how you're showing up is going to attract the people, right? You can do all the action in the world, but you're going to call in your people when you're more yourself and you're more just like unapologetically who you are. And when we first connected, I was like, this is why Heidi's so awesome, is because she just is telling it how it is, but just showing you how, you're demonstrating, you're leading. You are a leader. You're
Yeah.
leading by example. And so I love that way that you do that. And so I would love for you to kind of get into, like, let's talk about this mini habit that people can start implementing into their life, that they can start doing on a regular basis. That because if you think about it, folks, and many of you will agree, one of the biggest challenges is leads, right? Getting people to talk to. But my approach and Heidi's approach is very similar. It's like making these caring connections and serving people. And how do you do that? How best do we implement this micro habit?
Well, I think the big thing is yes, get over yourselves. So many people are sitting back waiting for people to come to them. You're not going to stand out. The noise is only going to get louder. More and more people are coming
Yep.
online, and if you, you're going to lose that client that you wanted, that dream client you had your eye on, the person who's actually out there talking to them is going to get them. So if you're just sitting there waiting on them to find you, it's not likely to happen because you're not standing out. And that's the problem I see with most people today. Still, they're just posting content on LinkedIn or all the social platforms, and they're just waiting on everybody to come to them instead of just getting the conversation started.
Hmm.
Um, One way I really like to get people looking at it is whatever platform you're on, and it doesn't matter whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, is think of it as a giant, literally, you walked into a giant networking event. If this is the place you're going to get clients, think about how you would do it even in person. And how would you start the conversation? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen the wallflowers, even at networking events, the people too shy to put themselves out there, but you can't be that on social media. If you're going to be
Hmm.
that, you're just not going to stand out. You're not going to get clients. You're not going to get leads. You're not going to get amazing opportunities with peers like you and I are doing right now. Because if you're sitting back waiting, it's not going to happen. So you got to make
I
those
love that.
opportunities for yourself.
I love that. I always say to my clients, I say, uh, some people do that really in a very weird way. Like, if you walked into a room and you just took a bunch of sticky notes and you were like, friend, and then you just put it on them, and you walk to the next person, friend, and you just stick it on them. But then the problem is that you're not talking to them after that. You're just like friend or connection, right? And then you don't actually say, like, at the bare minimum, folks, just saying, hey, thanks for connecting. Hope you have a
Yeah,
fantastic day. Right? It's really that simple.
it is.
It's just starting that conversation and acknowledging that you had a connection. That's it, right?
It is that simple. And the big thing that, and honestly, people fuck up the DMs badly. They
Yes.
treat them like they get in their head. And this is one thing I got known for with my clients is I'm like, think about this. Would you walk down the street and the first person you walk up to and you say walk up and say, "Hey, buy my chicken," instead of you wouldn't do that.
Nope.
I mean, yeah, maybe if you're the guy in the chicken outfit selling it for, Kentucky Fried Chicken, maybe you would. But for everybody else, we would not do that. Instead, you would walk up to somebody, "Hey, how you doing?" You'd have a reason for approaching them and get to talking to them the same as you would approaching them networking. And it's the same in DM. The problem is so many people want to get there like that. They want to shortcut the process. We want the sell now. Well, you haven't
Yeah.
built trust yet. They don't have to
Nope.
like you, but they do need to trust you.
Totally. It's all about subconscious safety. People need to feel in their mind because the subconscious loves what's familiar, predictable, and certain. And so I think, and I'd love for you to speak on this. I think some people, when they send this message or they send these things, they have a lot of beliefs and values in their head around like, well, what will happen? What if I send this and they're like, why did you connect with me? Or why did you send me a message and so on and so forth. So I think people we're
Oh, yeah.
ingrained to fear rejection, right? And the
Yes,
thing that you're explaining is it's a lot easier. We're making it way too difficult. Like when you and I
we are.
connected, we connected in a networking event, and then we got to chat and know each other, and now we're doing a podcast together. And that's the beauty and evolution of relationship marketing, y'all.
Yeah, and we were invested in just exploring and being curious. Maybe it wouldn't
Totally.
have come here, but we opened that door and tried and made the opportunity happen. The problem is, yes, a lot of people are too afraid of what people are going to think of them. And are
Yeah,
some people going to slam the door in your face? Absolutely, but that's their
for sure.
problem, not yours. That's their fears that, oh my God, this person's going to immediately pitch me just because a bunch of other people did. Great, so what? You just shut the
Yeah.
door on a potential opportunity by not exploring it at all, especially if the person comes to you and didn't pitch you immediately. But I also think people go into the DMs with only the thought processes of, I'm only here to get a client instead of
Mm,
being curious to see. I like to call it profitable opportunities instead of just get a client, because and by profitable opportunities, because we're using this for business purposes, but that doesn't mean friends can't come out of the deal as well, and that's profitable as well, right?
yeah.
So you could meet supportive peers. Like right now, we're two supportive peers going to be supporting each other, and that's happening. Potential leads can come out of it. Potential clients can come out of it. All kinds of opportunities if you stay open to what's going to happen, and just be curious and talk to people like a freaking human being, like you would like to be talked to.
Mm,
Because almost everybody I know, even the people using those cold pitches, they actually don't want them used on themselves.
yeah. Yeah. Yes. Say that. I want everybody to hear that again. The people that are using those don't even really want them used on themselves. I started to try to follow the pipeline. I did a funny thing where I was like genuinely being curious. I was like, who teaches this thing where you just send the person, you say, hey, can you handle 15 to 20 leads? This is the message everybody gets. You all know what I'm talking about. It's like, hey,
We all know what
hey,
you're talking about.
nice to meet you. Can you handle 15 to 20 leads and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, where did this start? Like who started this? And I started to try to follow it up the pipeline, but it always gets blocked and no one can tell me where it all began or who are they setting for? So if you don't like the way the setter is setting you, then do not hire that company because you're going to have them do the same thing for you. And nobody freaking likes that.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And at the end of the day, that's what I remind people when they're getting the DMs is let go of the fear. Are some people going to say no, absolutely not, and just slam the door? Absolutely, but get over it.
Yeah,
And then don't do anything you don't like being done to you.
totally.
I was talking not too long ago to a bunch of ladies, and one was saying, "Well, I don't like this particular type of approach," and one of the other ladies, another business coach, she was like, "Yeah, but why we don't like it, our clients don't know any better." And I said, "Hold on right there. At the end of the day, if you're applying, first of all, a tactic you don't like your energy is going to come through in it. And I said, why would you do that to your clients? And why would you think they aren't smarter than that? I was like, because
Hmm.
today they are. So don't get in the DMs thinking your people are stupid because they're not.
I love all of this, Heidi. Thank you so much for being a refreshing breath of fresh air in the industry. So let's in 90 seconds give people like what do they go do? So if you were to take Heidi's challenge here and over the next 14 to 30 days, you went and you connected with 3 to 5 people, what would that look like?
So my challenge for everyone is yes, 3 to 5 people per day. You send out DMs to them and stay curious. Just introduce yourself. Make sure you've read their profile before you send that DM. Don't be up there with the question, what do you do? Or where are you from? You should already know that answer. It just makes you look like you were too important not to read their profile. So don't make that mistake. And then send out 3 to 5 DMs. Start making a habit of this. Are you going to fuck it up at times? Yes. But as the more you practice this, the better you get. Not everybody's going to reply to you. That's okay too. But you are going to get people to reply back to you. And when you start doing this consistently, keep curiosity. Do keep strategy in mind. If you can bring up and talk about, I turn the conversation all the time because obviously it's something like, wow, my client just had this freaking big win, or I just had this big win. Because when they ask how your day was, that's where I go. And so I'm planting seeds in their head immediately. And you can do it that quick and that easy as well without being, you're not being salesy. You're just talking about your day, how you're feeling, and just get the conversation going. Ask them questions. Don't make it all about you, make it about them, and sit back and listen. See where the conversation goes. Be invested in it in the long term. This isn't instant, could be, but invest in the long term. And you're going to see an amazing habit develop where all of a sudden you've got leads, you've got speaking opportunities, you've got new friends, you've got supportive peers cheerleading you on. Anything is possible as long as you're open and curious and you're treating people like a human being.
The big key there is treat people like a human being. I love it. I love all of this. So folks, that's the challenge. This is what we're going to give you an opportunity to go do. Okay. And you're going to if you jump into the community and you want to follow this one and go down this rabbit hole and you get rewarded not only by me, but by Heidi, and you get to connect with us like once again, hey, human beings. And we're here to support you in this process that you're going through.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is also when you jump in, Heidi has a really cool thing that I love, and who wouldn't want this amazing thing that she's giving here that's getting 55 client attracting ways to share your lead magnet without feeling pushy or salesy. Like, who doesn't want that? So if you want that, I will include that in the show notes. You can also jump into the community. I'll put it in there as well. And this is one of the many habits that you will be able to choose from, folks. I highly recommend it. Not only do I recommend it, but I do it. So I practice what Heidi is preaching here. And it has made such an impact on me and my business and just my life and just the connections I've made and meeting people, amazing people like Heidi, right? And this is how this works. And she said it right there perfectly. It's like you can't just sit on your couch and just hope that these people are going to come to you, right? You can post content, you can do all this stuff, but it's getting out there and getting connected with people, y'all. So that's the key. Heidi, where do they find you if they're looking for you?
LinkedIn, Heidi Medina. I'm easy to find.
Look at that. That was the easiest one I've ever heard. It's perfect. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And folks, she'll be in our community. You can connect with her. And like literally, we're real people. So just send us a message, ask us questions, right? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So in the show notes, you'll have an opportunity to jump into the community. Um, take on Heidi's challenge here, her little mini habit, and start to make a massive impact in your life and everything that you do. Um, thank you so much for all that you've given us today, Heidi. It's such a pleasure, so awesome. And folks, I'm really excited to see how you go and use this and how you go and apply this. Share with us in the comments below, share with us in the group, share with us in the community. And remember, folks, to keep making more impact and income. It's all about showing up, taking action, and you will get results. Have a fantastic
Amen.
day.